So I just came off comparing the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra to pretty much all the other Samsung phones that I could think of, and to be honest, I really do think the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra is a really solid phone. I've said this for so many years, pretty much for the whole entire Ultra lineup, even for the whole entire Plus lineup, since I've been, looking at the S8 Plus, S9 Plus, so on and so forth. Looking at the top tier S lineup is something that I always love doing, but it's very strange because you expect Samsung to do the best of the best, and I really do think with something like the Galaxy S22 Ultra, it is a very interesting step in a different direction. It's very easy for me to sit here and say, oh my god, it's the best phone ever, it's this is that, but because of not only with the approach that Samsung did with this phone, but the other S lineup phones too, but also what they did with the, whole entire, speed slowdown thing that is just going on right now, it's going to be very interesting what the legacy of the Galaxy S22 series is going to be in general. Now, obviously, if you have all the money in the world, go for the S22 Ultra. It's probably one of the best phones you can buy, but I would tell you, if you want to save some money, the S21 Ultra, even the S20 Ultra are still very, very good phones to pick up. I'll go ahead and leave some of these linked down in the description. You can get them from there, help support the channel at the same time. Now, the body, this is easily probably one of the best things about it. I love this design. I always like, the S22s, the longer type of design, even the S21 Ultra. I like that design of a longer phone, but I also like having a wider phone. I love the curved screen, and I love how it's, just the flat sides on the top and bottom. I actually do like that a lot. When you're holding it in landscape mode and you're playing games and stuff like that, I actually do prefer it this way, to be honest. It's a 6.8-inch dynamic AMOLED display, 120Hz, 1440p. It's a very, very good panel. I mean, it's one of the best panels you can buy, but a big thing to keep in mind is that even like the Galaxy S8 Plus's panel is still really good in this day and age. So, I say that to say the S22 Ultra's panel is amazing. The S20 Ultra's panel from 2 years ago is also really good. So I don't think Samsung is really making crazy big improvements in their displays, probably within the last 2 years, but it's still a really good display, and there's not really too many people competing with it, to be honest. We have a USB Type-C port at the bottom with Samsung DeX, which is amazing, and I love having that type of capability, and I don't really see too many reviewers talking about that, but that's one of my favorite things about the whole entire Samsung lineup. Now on the back, we do have a frosted glass back, which still feels extremely premium. I love having this type of capability. We saw the frosted glass back on the S21 Ultra, and I think it's still a really awesome touch to bring to this new type of phone. But I will tell you something very interesting. The camera bump, there is none. It's just a flat slab of glass on the back, and I actually do like this a lot. There are some things sometimes where some people have stated, well, the camera bump helped protected the camera in the back of the phone, but that's not actually quite the case. The bump really didn't protect the camera. If you put it on a table, the camera was still hitting the table. So I actually don't mind this design. I actually do think it's pretty nice. You have the S Pen on this phone as well, which is an amazing touch. If you want to use it or you don't want to use it, it's there. And I think it's a really cool touch, and I love Samsung for bringing that type of feature on. And overall, when you look at the outside of the S22 Ultra, I love it. I think it's amazing. And, even though when I look at the S20 Ultras and all these other phones, they look almost, the same kind of design, this one looked a little bit different. And I actually do like that a lot. Now, I will tell you, I'll just go and hit on the cameras right now just to kind of get it over with. This is an amazing camera. It's probably going to be the best camera this year. It's pretty much a quadruple camera setup. So you have a 108 megapixel wide angle lens. 10 megapixel periscope telephoto lens, 10 megapixel telephoto lens, then a 12 megapixel ultra wide sensor. And as I mentioned before, man, with something like this type of camera, this is easily still the best camera you can buy in this day and age. You also have a 40 megapixel front facing lens at 4K at 60. And here's what I'll tell you about this camera. No matter what you're going to do with your camera sensors, you're pretty much going to have the perfect camera on this type of phone. Now, I would tell you with something like the Galaxy S22 Ultra, a big difference that Samsung mentioned, they did team up with other social media applications, things like Snapchat, Instagram, and TikTok, and they said they actually brought some camera features over from their stock camera app to those applications. I don't know if this has already happened, but I did test it on my S22 maybe 4 or 5 days ago, and I didn't see any extra features added, which was weird. If you want to see those videos, those are on my second channel, but I found that kind of weird, but I guess the quality is great. It's still really amazing. But again, when I always look at my iPhones, right, they just do such a good job. The developers of those applications do a great job at utilizing the core camera of that phone. It always is a little bit weirder on these, Samsung phones still, but I do like how Samsung has at least taken the step. So it's a step in the right direction. Hopefully with the next generation, they'll improve it even more. And I hope they port it over to all their other Samsung phones as well. You have 8K capability on the back, still amazing quality. But I will tell you, even when I look at the S20 Ultra, that's still a really good camera, and I always hate bringing those older phones up, but even when compared to this generation, all these cameras are the same. I think they're really, really good, and there's just not really too much craziness going on here. I feel like the biggest thing Samsung did with these specific phones, to be honest, is increase the software longevity. This is, I think, the biggest impact these phones have had, let alone the way they look, the feel, the premiumness, whatever. The fact that they are offering 4 years of full OS updates and 5 years of security updates, in my opinion, is probably the biggest thing of, what the Samsung S22 lineup is going to be remembered for. Even though the S21 is also kind of getting the same thing, this phone kind of originated it and it got it at the starting point. So this phone is going to be lasting forever. And no matter how you or I feel about One UI, I love that Samsung is taking that initiative and that approach, and it's easily one of my favorite things about this phone without a doubt. So software-wise, this phone is probably one of the best phones you can buy in terms of software experience on the Android side, but even compared to iPhones, this thing is going to be lasting around the same time. Definitely probably not as much, maybe like a year or two difference, but it's still not like how it used to be, like half the amount of time. So that's another big thing that the S22 Ultra had going for it. Now, I will tell you, performance side of things, this is the more controversial side. So you have the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chipset with 8GB of RAM on the base models, and it does go up to 12GB of RAM. Now, the one thing that immediately made me annoyed was that they didn't give us the 16GB of RAM option that we had before. So that was very, very annoying. I hate seeing that type of stuff, but I will tell you, from my experience before this whole controversy, I had a great time with this performance. I thought it was very fast. I played very intensive games on this thing like PUBG, and I played whatever other games. Genshin Impact, that was a big one. I maxed out the graphics on Genshin Impact 2, and that game flew by. I thought it did really good. It did it started overheating a little bit, but it was very good performance. Then come to find out just 2 days ago that apparently they underclocked the performance on some games like this, which I was kind of shocked by because I felt like this performance was really, really good still. Again, I'm not a gamer, so I guess I wouldn't really know, but just the thought that Samsung kind of, I guess, is underclocking the performance of some of these phones is kind of strange to me. Now, it looks like they're going to be fixing it and pushing on a software update or something, but it is very weird that this was even the thought process in the first place. It's very, very annoying. I really don't like that stuff at all, and that's a really big deal. So I guess we'll see what happens, what Samsung does in the future. But even as of right now, obviously when scrolling through pages and opening up apps, it's still at the normal speed as far as I know, and it's a fast phone. It's blazing fast. You have the 120Hz, so it makes things feel so much faster, but I just don't like how Samsung did that, and hopefully they can fix it. Again, this is a developing story, so we don't even know everything about it, so I will probably make 50 more videos about it probably in the next couple of days, but we'll see what happens. I think the performance is great though. I just really don't like how they, obviously underclocked the performance here and there, but they didn't give us that 16GB of RAM option. That was honestly kind of strange. Now, ending it off with the battery life, this thing has a 5,000 mAh battery inside of it, and that's a massive size to have on a battery still. Even though it's been pretty much the same for the last few generations, that's a big size battery, and I'm a fan of it for sure. I hope they increase it with the next generation, but I'm totally okay with the battery in my opinion. Now, to be honest, my thoughts, I think this is probably still the best Android phone you can buy. It's either this or the Pixel 6 Pro, and I do think this one probably has a lot more going for it in terms of features. It's a beautiful phone. It has tons of capability. I just really hope that Samsung kind of, fixes some of the things that I mentioned before, bringing in the camera features to those social media applications if it's not already there, which I couldn't find. The slowdown in performance, that's another big thing, and I just don't like how they didn't, give us the 16GB of RAM option. But other than that, this is the flagship. But if you have an S21 Ultra, even an S20 Ultra, even a Galaxy S10 Plus, I don't think I would necessarily go to an S22 Ultra. I think I'd rather go to something like an S20 Ultra and still have my microSD card slot. I think I would go to an S21 Ultra if I want to save some money. I just don't see the point of going to an S22 Ultra unless you're going to use that S Pen. Other than that, it's been pretty much the same thing for the last few generations, but this is the best of the best. It's $11.99, so it's definitely expensive, but I'll definitely say if you want to save some money, go for the S20 Ultra or S22 or S21 Ultra, but this is a very good phone, and I just don't have too much to complain about it besides the many things that I complain about it. So that pretty much covers it up. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.